Hello, welcome to Precontation Points Video Snark. I read books and talk about what went wrong. I'm continuing my read-through of Alienated by Melissa Landers. Not the first video, go check out the others. Links are posted below. Chapter 22. Naturally, Bill is beyond upset to have caught his daughter in the exchange student he's hosting with the door locked. Kara almost gets away with it, but her shirt is randomly inside out. When did clothes come off? I feel like I missed something here. A few hours later, Kara's parents cheer them out over this inappropriate behavior. Kara naturally balks over the thought of having that discussion with her parents. Alice is quick to tell her parents that this isn't a game, and he tells them that if the alliance goes ahead, then Kara will come to his planet to be with him. However, this is news to Kara. Yes, she does want to be with him, but she thought that he'd stay on Earth. Although, as I think about it, why the frick-frack paddywhack would he want to stay in a place where he routinely wakes up to slurs burned into this front lawn? I know he hasn't had many nice things to say about his own planet, but sweet baby Jose, at least people aren't going to scream in Kara's face simply for being there. Bill says that they can talk about that later. He then lays down some ground rules, well, one rule, which is no hanky-panky, which is fair. As soon as Bill and Eileen leave, Kara kind of starts on how Alex is deciding things for her without consulting her. This isn't simply him picking out a flavor of ice cream. This is him deciding that Kara should move to his planet to be with him. And boy, if I think that a high school couple are trying to get into the same college so that they can continue to be together is bad, this is easily a billion times worse. But at least Alex has some measure of understanding why she'd be upset about leaving. Before this can go further, a soldier rushes inside and tells them to turn on the news. There, a report comes in from China about how local Halo members grabbed Iran and murdered him. Alex thinks that his friend must have stuck away from his guard in order to uproot that plan. The reporter continues on and says that Cyrene has vanished too, although it sounds more like she heard the news and ran off to safety. Alex is naturally upset over the news of his friend being murdered and gets physically sick. The soldier is talking about how the alliance has obviously fallen through. Kara begs for Alex to take her with him, and now this entire thing has turned into some messed up Romeo and Juliet situation, I guess. Bill naturally protests over the entire thing, but Kara is adamant. Alex knows that the council would never allow Kara onto the ship, so he tells her to go to the clearing where he has that emergency ship, that it might take him a while, but he'll come for her. The parents don't like this, but Bill and Alex both put on ski masks. Bill cuts off Alex's ponytail and sticks it under the end of his mask. With his face mostly obscured, he looks like one of the aliens. While Bill runs out the front door to distract the literal angry mob, Alex and Kara sneak out through one of the windows. As they hear the mob outside, Kara has a moment of panic of what might happen to her father because of all of this, but she knows that she can't stop now, so they run into the forest. Chapter 23. The two of them race through the forest. Kara tries to tamp down the terror she feels over knowing that the mob will probably murder her parents before realizing that they're not Alexi and Kara. When they realize the deception, they'll storm into the forest, if they're not already. In the clearing, Alex curses because in the rush to leave, he forgot the key. He assures her that it's more of a remote to bring the ship down and make it visible again, but so long as he can touch it, then they'll be okay. Alex tells Kara to hide somewhere, but it's the dead of winter and there aren't exactly a lot of good options. Alex has to climb a tree up about 30 feet to reach the ship, but that'll leave him super exposed. As Kara crouches down near some winter-dead shrubs, she hears the voices of Eric, Marcus, and Brandy. Brandy's holding a golf club, and it's like, I can accept that you're going along with whatever the cool kids are doing, but I draw the line at actually picking up a weapon and going out into the woods with the intent to bash somebody's head in. Alex had been staying as still as possible, but his foot slipped a little. This catches the attention of the others. Eric spots Kara crouching a few feet away and tries to distract Marcus by saying that it must have been a squirrel or something in the opposite direction. He convinces them that they should split up the search, so Brandy goes off with her boyfriend, who Eric says has a gun. Eric tells Kara to get out of there. She takes a moment to ask about her dad, but Eric doesn't really have any news about her parents, and why would he? If he went into the woods, he likely wouldn't have realized that the man who came out from the front door wasn't Alex. Eric is surprised when Kara says that Alex is up in the tree to get to his ship, and even more surprised when she tells him that she's leaving. Like, he's literally out in the woods with two people who are carrying a gun and a golf club, and he's surprised that she wants to get away from all of that, even at the cost of never seeing her home planet ever again. Anyway, Kara was too distracted by Eric, and Marcus and Brandy come over. Marcus starts to kick her, but Eric tries to stop him, so the two boys get into a physical fight instead. Marcus yells at Eric to stop thinking with his, Richard. Brandy starts going on about how the aliens are going to turn them all into slaves, but since Kara turned traitor, she'd be safe, which makes me think that she was lying about how she'd written the love letter to Elix. Kara realizes this too after a page, and she thinks that Brandy likely shoved Ashley down the stairs as well. Eric then randomly sells out Alexi's position in what I can only assume is a last-ditch effort to save Kara. Marcus and Brandy glance up at the right time to see Elix vanish into the ship. Marcus takes aim with his gun, but Kara smashes him in the knee with Eric's baseball bat. Brandy goes to attack Kara, but Eric attacks Brandy first. Alex then turns the engine on, which blasts superheated air all over the area. Brandy is frightened by the entire thing and tells Kara to turn it off, or else she'll kill her. Kara can't do anything but cower in fear. Alex comes down to get her, saying that Eric was shot and that it was only a graze and that he should be fine. Now that Brandy is outnumbered and Marcus knocked unconscious, Brandy decides to flee while she still can. As Alex carries her onto the ship, Kara looks back at Eric. For a moment, she sees the Eric who had been her friend and boyfriend, but then the doors close, and that's that. Chapter 24. On the big alien ship, a medic tends to Kara. When they got onto the ship, Alex and one of the leaders had engaged in an intense staring match. Kara didn't need to read their minds to know that she wasn't welcome there. The medic takes care of Kara's broken ribs first and then moves on to dealing with the cuts and bruises. Kara is simply impressed at how intense this healing is, including the bruise healing. She's given a beige alien uniform to change into and thinks that she looks exactly like one of the aliens now. The medics take Kara to where Alex is, only to find him in a heated mental argument with Cyrene. Kara feels bad about Iran, but thinks that it's unfair that literally all of the aliens would blame her for his death. Kara eventually interrupts them. Alex is surprised to see her and asks her how her ribs are doing. She invites him to find out by hugging her as tight as possible, so he does. But Cyrene isn't happy to see Kara and mocks Alex for bringing up the fact that he didn't tell her about this weird plant-killing plant. She also mocks Kara and says that she got Kara's block shut down. Kara tries to act like she knows everything, but Cyrene tells her the part Alex was too much of a coward to tell her about how the elders might have wanted to interbreed with the humans, but not the younger generation, their generation, so they set out to intentionally sabotage the entire thing. Alex tells Kara that he'd pulled up the plant 3 days ago, but she's more upset with the thought that up until 3 days ago, he still intended to destroy Earth. Cyrene rips in further about how without the aliens to help with that plant-killing plan, Earth is doomed. Alex explains the rest to her, but she's more upset that, even despite his change of heart in the end, Alex fully intended to destroy Earth in his own way. Cyrene continues to mock Kara in her pain, going so far as to say that she'd already warned the elders about the possibility of Alex stealing more of the plant to try and save humans from their folly. Cyrene slaps Kara, which prompts Kara to go into the other girl's face and call the entire species out on their nonsense. That humans might be flawed, but holy granola bar, at least we know we got issues. We don't walk around and pretend to be morally superior to others the way that the Lahirs do. Kara tells Alex that coming onto the ship was a mistake and that she only wants to go home right now. As she runs off, Alex thinks that he has to save Earth no matter the cost might be to him. Thanks for listening to my book Snark on YouTube. New videos are up every Monday, but stick around because I sometimes drop random videos on other days too. Just as a reminder, even if you can't financially support me, there are other ways to help me out. The first is watching this video as well as all my other videos. It's also important to like and subscribe. Finally, you can share this video with all of your friends so that they can help as well. If you're already caught up with all of my videos, you can go to Tumblr for my main book Snarks, always free and updated every morning. And if you've already read all of my main Snarks, then you can find even more Snark on my Patreon. You can access it for $1 a month. Members also get early access to my main Tumblr Snark. Special thanks to Dawn, Phoebe, and Nikki for supporting me on Patreon already. If you want to hear your name in my video next week, either support me on Patreon or make a one-time donation. Do you like my Snarks so much that you want me to snark your writing? I do that too. For just $6 per chapter, I will tell you how awful that your writing is. But not to worry if you feel like you couldn't take the criticism. I also offer regular book editing as well, just 1 cent per word. You can contact me on any of my social media platforms if you have further questions. If you want to read some of the things that I've written, you can purchase my works on Amazon. I have a slew of erotic short stories and now 2 full-length novels. I also sometimes run flash sales on my stories, and if you don't follow me on any social media, you might want to do so just so you can know when I might be offering more things for free. Links for everything will be posted below. See you next week, guys!